Hello friends, it's Kayla. It has been a little while since I've done a book haul. I think I started out my last book haul saying, welcome to my monthly book haul, and I thought that would hold me accountable for making monthly book hauls. It didn't. It's been 2.5 months and now I have a lot of books to share with you. But they're all so very exciting. I have things that were sent to me, things that I bought, brand new releases, thrifted things that I had a lot of success shopping for, and let's just get right into it. The first thing I need to talk to you about, I can't believe I'm holding this in my hands. The sponsor of this video is Book of the Month. Can you believe those words just came out of my mouth? The sponsor of this video is Book of the Month. This blue box arriving on my door, it was just a very special moment between me and my mailman. Book of the Month is a super popular online book service that has grown to now include Canadian readers, which is me. Their mission is to promote new and emerging authors, which I feel like is perfectly exemplified with the 2 books that they allowed me to select. So we have the well-known author, Catherine Steadman, but also the debut author, Claudia Lux. Their team curates a selection of new and early release titles every single month from hundreds, so you can spend more time reading and less time researching. For me, this was the first time I'd heard of Sign Here, and I'm so excited to read it. It's about this guy. It's like a dark comedy horror about a guy who works in hell, and to get his next promotion, he has to get another member of this like super wealthy family to come join hell. And then The Family Game was almost one of my book club selections this year. In fact, Book of the Month often aligns with my book club selections, and this is about a wealthy family. There's an inheritance. It's a psychological thriller where this woman has to participate in this deadly family game with her husband, who's part of this family. So many of my buzzwords in that synopsis. The most important thing to me about subscribing to Book of the Month is the fact that they let you skip any month that you want and not be charged. And they shared a special code with me going on right now that your very first book is $9.99 if you use the code TREAT. So if you want to pick up either of these selections or anything else that they're offering this month, or just keep an eye out for what's coming next, there is a link in my description to Book of the Month, and thank you so much to them for sponsoring this video. I feel like I'm really fighting with the sun today about the placement of me and my camera, so I'll keep trying to avoid it. I have a couple of other things that were sent to me kindly. One is Lost. Lost of the Woman and Found by Shauna McGuire. Can't believe I have this. Like, I know that Tor is so kind and sends me the book every like fall that's coming up for the next January, but still every time it comes in the mail I'm like, I can't believe I get to keep reading this series, because it is my favorite series right now. This is the 8th book in the Wayward Children series, and it's following a character named Antoinette. Every book kind of follows a different character and the world that they're in, or back at Eleanor West's home for wayward children, where all of the kids who can't cope with coming back to the real world after they've experienced these fantastical situations, they get the support and like mental health care and everything that they need. This one, her father owns this shop, and then there's a little doorway she goes through and she's in this magical situation, and it's about like childhood innocence. Once lost, can never be found. Some of them are extremely hard-hitting, and I have a feeling that's going to be exemplified there. The next one is The Honeys by Ryan LaSala, and this one showed up out of nowhere, and I didn't know if I was gonna read it or if I was gonna send it to someone else, put it in a little free library. But then I saw a bunch of my other friends had also been sent it, and they're loving it. Like, I have had people directly message me just saying, oh my god, I just read this book and you need to read it. Oh my gosh, look at the inside. I haven't really looked at this. I haven't read the synopsis. There's a bee on the front. So let's find out together. I know it's a YA horror. I think that's why I was a little bit hesitant. But it says Mars has always been the lesser twin, the shadow to his sister Caroline's radiance. Then Caroline dies. Mars's gender fluidity means he's often excluded from traditions and expectations of his politically connected family. Then he finds a fairy tale not meant for him. Folksy charm and sun-drenched festivities camouflage old-fashioned gender roles and toxic preparatory rigor. There's a group of girls dubbed the Honeys at this prestigious Aspen Conservancy summer academy that he gets to attend, and something is hunting him in broad daylight. I think I need to read it. This is textured. Oh my god. It looks just like my sweater. I'm very intrigued. I have been influenced. And then I think that's it for things that have been sent to me, unless you consider my mom sending me something. This is super random. It's called The Scorpion Rules by Erin Bow, and it's an ARC. She was at work and they have this little library at work where they like leave their books, share their books with each other, trade books, and she hadn't brought a book to read one day, so she grabbed a book from there and like flew through this and then told me I now have to read it. It says it's about a game, so that's interesting. Greta is a duchess and crown princess and a hostage to peace. This is how the game is played. If you want to rule, you must give one of your children as a hostage. Start a war and your hostage dies. Greta will be free if she can survive until her 18th birthday. And then a boy opens Greta's eyes to the brutality of the system they live under. I don't know. I'm gonna read it though. And then she also gave me this back because I bought it and then gave it to her. And then I was like, you can have it as long as you give it back to me by today because I need to film a haul. She did say that she liked it. She doesn't really rate books, but her generally with Stephen King, it's like high ratings, but not, you know, incredible 5-star all-time favorites, which is also how I feel about all his recent books. A very similar kind of story from him. We have a young boy and he's going into this unfamiliar territory. So in this, there's a portal in a shed and he goes to this fantastical world. It's called Fairy Tale. So it is a fairy tale and it says it's a world of good and evil. I don't need to know any more of the plot, but I'll tell you more of the plot once I've actually read it. Since we're already talking about new releases, I have 2 stacks. Brand new, full price new releases that I planned to buy. I knew I was going to choose them for book club things or make videos around, or just I really wanted to read. And then impulsive new releases that I was just at the bookstore and bought. So the ones I was especially excited about that I will be reading soon include You're Invited by Amanda Giatissa, which is the Literally Dead book club pick for October. This is about a woman who goes to her like former best friend's wedding in Sri Lanka and deadly things start happening when she gets there. I also thrifted My Sweet Girl by this author. I read this in July, I want to say. That's why one of the contributing reasons that I committed to this for a book club picks, because I really enjoyed this one, which came out a couple years ago, and it has 2 different timelines. One where this young girl is in an orphanage in Sri Lanka, and one where she is an adult and like her roommate just died. When she goes to get the police and come back to the apartment, his body is gone. So it kicks off this thriller chain of events. Then I grabbed the November Literally Dead book club selection, which is House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This I've shown before multiple times by now, but not in a specific haul. It's a little bit shorter than I thought, which will be fun. And I feel like we always end the year with the book club with like the most fantastical or paranormal speculative book. So this is a gothic horror about a blood maiden. It's about wealth and power, and there's this countess who gets obsessed with our main character and she gets sucked into this world. And then the last new release I absolutely knew I was going to buy was The Weight of Blood by Tiffany D. Jackson. This is actually my besties book club. My channel members were reading this in fall. We're doing like seasonal book club reads, which is really fun, and the live show is going to be in November, but I'm going to read this I think I'm going to read this on Halloween because it's a retelling of one of my favorite Stephen King stories, Carrie, but it takes place in this small town in Georgia following our main character, Madison, who is going to the school's first integrated prom, and I think she's going to be pranked and bad things are going to happen. Oh, just kidding. I had one more that I knew I was going to pick up. This is Billy Ray Belcourt's A Minor Chorus, which is a novel from the same author as, is it on here? What's it called? A History of My Brief Body? I think that's what it is. I just love these like editions. They feel so great, and I don't even know what this is about. We have an unnamed narrator returning to northern Alberta in search of what eludes him, the shape of the novel he yearns to write, an autobiography of his rural hometown. As I absolutely love books about authors, it makes a lot of sense. This also, The Family Game, I didn't mention, is about a novelist. And then very impulsively, I picked up A Taste of Golden Iron by Alexandra Rowland, which again is like a kingdom royalty type of book. Kadu, the shy prince of Arast, finds himself at odds with one of the most powerful ambassadors at court, the body father of the queen's new child. I don't even know what that just said. In an altercation that results in his humiliation. To prove his loyalty to the queen, who is his sister, Kadu takes responsibility for the investigation of a break-in at one of their guilds with the help of the newly appointed bodyguard. Sounds like a fun time. I also grabbed Reluctant Immortals by Gwendolyn Keist, which is about Lucy, a victim in Dracula, and Bertha, a woman, the attic-bound wife in Jane Eyre. So it's basically about these two men, what they did to these women, and the women like coming together and surviving. It's a lyrical and harrowing journey of two women as they bravely claim their own destiny in a man's world. And then I've got Tear, which is pronounced Tear, just in case you watched the vlog where I bought it. Oh my gosh. I do appreciate the sun. Like the fact that the sun is out, it's been a couple cloudy days, so like I'm happy that it's here. This is about a woman named Frances who is quiet and reclusive, so her upstairs roommates forget she even exists. She starts to question the realities of her own existence. She can't remember there being a lock on the door at the top of the basement stairs, and yet when she turns the knob, the door won't open. She can't tell the difference between her childhood memories and her dreams. One of my favorite plot points. It just sounds like a very strange literary horror, maybe. It's from a Canadian author. I just saw this at my local indie and I was like, yes, I'm doing that. I also grabbed their Queer Little Nightmares. This is an anthology of monstrous fiction and poetry. There's like 20 authors in here. So some of them, look at it, it's a poem. And some of them are longer narratives. Oh, very long. Minotaur, I see the word Minotaur. So it's all about monsters from history and their queer identity that's maybe been in the shadows, placed front and center, celebrated. I think it sounds fascinating, and this cover is my favorite thing. And I think that's it for that stack. And then I have a bunch of stuff that I got thrifted, discounted. One that I've already read is Reckless Girls by Rachel Hawkins. I borrowed it from the library and I gave it 4 stars. So when I saw it on sale, I grabbed it. It's like a nice floppy paperback. And this is like a slow moving kind of friendship, relationship, dynamic story, just learning about all of these characters, how they got to where they are on this strange island, and then the action really takes off for just a little bit of the story. Another mystery, very different tone though, is 2 Parts Sugar, 1 Part Murder by Valerie Burns. I know I picked up some other cozy mysteries for that video. They were either library books or I lent out a couple. So this is the only one that I think I have. And it's about a woman who's moving to a small town, as you do in a cozy mystery, and taking over a new business as you do in a cozy mystery, adopting a dog, and getting involved with the murder, trying to solve the murder of the local mayor. I have a vlog out for that. And then I grabbed Circe by Madeline Miller. It's so funny because if you watched the vlog that I bought this in, I was very determined to not pay full price for it because I knew it was probably everywhere. It's been out for so long, and I also didn't think that I was gonna like it. Fortunately, I was wrong, but at least I have like a good, it's a decent quality book that I'm happy to now own, and part of me wants to buy like special editions, but I'm not going to. But I did love it. And this is about a woman named Circe, daughter of the gods, and her being exiled to an island and the things that she does and sees and learns about herself while she's there. I also grabbed Outlawed, which I have to admit I don't really know anything about, but I kept seeing it at my local indie, and every time I went there was like a different sticker on it discounting the price every time. I feel like I want to pick up books with Western vibes, but I'm not talking like picking up Westerns from way back in the day. So this just gave me good vibes. It says, in the year of our Lord 1894, I became an outlaw. We have a main character named Ada. She's 17. She works as an apprentice, a respected midwife, but after a year of marriage and no pregnancy in a town where barren women are routinely hanged as witches, her survival depends on leaving behind everything she knows. She joins up with this notorious band of outlaws, and it's a safe haven for outcast women. It sounds interesting. It was very cheap. Also, in that category, fits In the Quick by Kate Hope Day. I had this on my radar last year, but didn't know enough about it to pay $36, so I waited until I found it on sale. And it's about an astronaut, shocking, I know, who is haunted by a mystery involving a spacecraft, her uncle that went missing 12 years ago. So now she's teaming up with this guy to find out what happened to her uncle and that crew, but I think they're also like actively in space and things are going wrong with their own spaceship, or they're on Earth and they want to go on a mission and there's something wrong with their spaceship. Something. Next, I also found Salt Slow, which I've had my eye on. I wanted the hardcover specifically, but it's hard to find. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's by Julia Armfield, who I recently read Our Wives Under the Sea from, and people were telling me that I was really gonna like this. There's something about the word salt right now. Salt is in so many books that I've liked or that I've wanted to read, and I just feel like it's a unique word, but not common enough to be a buzzword next year. But maybe one of the buzzwords can be like spices, herbs, food related words, flavors even. I know salt's not a flavor, but like you know where my mind is going, right? Anyway, I don't know the plot. It explores women's experiences in contemporary society mapped through their bodies. As urban dwellers' sleeps become disassociated from them, a city turns insomniac. Is it a series of stories? Oh my god, I did not realize it was a series of stories. Blending elements of horror, science fiction, mythology, and feminism, Salt Slow is an utterly original collection of short stories that are sure to dazzle and shock, heralding the arrival of a daring new voice. Wow, what a synopsis. Don't you think this is so pretty? Okay, and then I saw Brown Girl in the Ring. I've seen so many different covers of this, and I've seen a lot of people talk about it over the years, and so I just thought I would grab it. Do I know the plot of this one? No. The rich and privileged have fled the city, barricaded it behind roadblocks, and left it to crumble. The inner city has had to rediscover old ways, farming, barter, herb lore, but now the moneyed need a harvest of bodies, and so they prey upon the helpless of the streets. With nowhere to turn, a young woman must open herself to ancient truths, eternal powers, and the tragic mystery surrounding her mother and grandmother. She must bargain with gods and give birth to new legends. Listen, I sometimes, like, I hear people talk about a book, but I don't really take it all in. I just put it in the back of my mind as like, that book. If you ever see that book, you should grab that book. And so I knew that I was interested in it, but I didn't remember like what it was about. And that sounds like something that I would be interested in. So look at me go. Used bookstore find was As the Wicked Watch by Tamron Hall, which is the first book in a mystery suspense series. We're following a journalist crime reporter, which is what I also think the author is. So this is about a woman named Jordan, the only woman of color in the newsroom most often. She's armed with a master's degree in forensic science. For the first time, she's leaving her hometown and starting a new job. Now there's a story with a 15-year-old girl whose body was found in an abandoned lot, and she does everything she can to give the story the coverage it desperately requires. There's a serial killer on the loose, Jordan believes, and he's hiding in plain sight. Then another new release I was lucky to find is A Far Wilder Magic. I originally had this on my radar again for the year, but I was waiting till more people read it. I've seen a couple people's reviews come in, and then I saw it on sale, so I grabbed it. It's about mythical creatures. It looks like a folk horror fantasy just based on the cover, and like obviously a romance. The mythical creature is called a Hala, and whoever's able to kill the Hala will earn fame and riches and unlock an ancient magical secret. Margaret is the best sharpshooter in town. All she needs is an alchemist. So now this unlikely team is going to go on the hunt, and they uncover dark magic that could be the key to winning if they survive that long. That sounds like such a good time. I also was able to find Black Tide by Casey Jones, which is something I had on my most anticipated list because it sounds like a really interesting survival apocalypse story. Basically, there was this meteor shower, but something much bigger and more terrifying was at the heart of it. And we have two characters who just met and like had a one-night stand, and now they're stuck together, leaving them stranded. The tides are rising, and unspeakable horrors close in around them, and they have to survive. Then lastly, I have two cozy mysteries I have yet to read. We've got Four Aunties and a Wedding, the sequel to Dial A for Aunties. I'll be reading this early 2023 for a sequel episode to my Cozy Mystery series. And in the first one, there's basically just a dead body and they have to cart it around with them on this wedding weekend that they're hosting. And then this one, I guess our main character is now getting married, and so they have a wedding business, and I guess now they're gonna be doing it for her. Is there going to be another dead body? I don't know. And then I got Body and Soul Food by Abby Collette, which I read A Deadly Inside Scoop from, and this is her other Cozy Mystery series. I just saw that the sequel came out, so I thought I'd pick up this one just to see if I like it. And it's about these twins who were separated at birth. One of them was adopted, one of them was in foster care, and they have like this foster brother who was found, or they found dead on a train. And so it's a typical Cozy Mystery storyline where they're implicated for the murder unless they solve it themselves. And that is everything that I added to my life, or other people kindly added to my life over the last 2.5 months. Let me know if you're planning on reading any of these, if any of these interest you, or where you think I should start, what I definitely need to prioritize as always. Thank you so much to Book of the Month for sponsoring this video, and I'll see you later. Bye!